Hi everybody, welcome to part 3 of switching my N-scale layout. Parts 1 and 2 we switched the Miller distribution and ITT Grinnell, and then we crossed over in part 2 and we switched General Chemical on the team track. Part 3 we're going to switch Union Spring. That's going to require a runaround move, and then also wherever requires runaround moves, so we'll do that in part 4. And finish up in part 5 because I don't think I can fit everything into 4 parts without it being a really long video. I appreciate everybody watching. I've had some questions about the sound on my engine. It's ESU Loksound. It was installed by a friend of mine, Benjamin Horn, and he had to mill the frame and he made a custom speaker enclosure. So sounds fantastic. It's probably going to be the only engine I ever run. I'm probably way overstocked with engines now because I love listening to that thing. Before we get started, I want to point out the wings up above my shoulder. Those aren't mine. My dad passed away 7 years ago at the age of 87. He was a lifelong builder of model airplanes, and he flew what they call free flight, which is sort of a dying thing now. Everyone's into radio control, but he loved that hobby. He tried to get me into it, but I like trains better. So he didn't instill the love of model airplanes, but he did instill the love of modeling. And so he did encourage me in my model railroading too. He wasn't disappointed that I didn't do the planes. So let's get started on part 3. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to put the rail boxcar and the empty tank car on this siding by the team track, just to get them out of the way. They'll go back to the yard. Somebody made the comment that they wouldn't want to live on Douglas Avenue because the street is always blocked by the trains. And that's true in my world. Industries are pretty close to it. In the real world, when they're switching these industries, probably only one at the time they would block the crossing. To catch myself, I keep stopping. That tree is blocking my uncoupler. Second time I've done that. So now we're going to go up and get the rest of the train, and we're going to leave the caboose coupled to the rail box car because that's that way it'll be on the end of the train when we head back to the yard. I use the Ricks uncouplers. I like those really well. Some people just use little stick skewers or whatever, but I like the Ricks. I have better luck with them. This one actually broke, so that's why it's a little crooked. It was my own fault. I was prying something with it I shouldn't have been prying. So now we're going to push the train down. We have to block the crossing for a minute. My runaround track is not very long on this side. It's only about 3 cars long with, and then plus the engine, so I can get the engine to go around it. If you're not familiar with my layout, that's wear over aluminum on the left, and that's what we'll be switching in part 4. My wife did a really good job filming this again. She sort of set up camp here at the end, which really hampered me when I switched Union Spring, which you'll see here in a minute. Usually when I switch Union Spring, I'm standing where she's filming, and we sort of had to do a little dance there, and actually I derailed a car with the uncoupler because I couldn't see what I was doing. So now we're going to push the 2 cars we don't need, which is the cover hopper and the boxcar. We'll push them past the spur, and then we'll back out and we'll switch out the empty gondola for the full gondola. Union Spring gets a steel rod. They make springs for railroad cars, and now they get it in bulkhead flat cars and unload it outside. Back in the 70s, they unloaded it inside this covered loading dock, and they got it in gondolas. So normally I'd be standing right here, and I'm really struggling. So I'm getting in the wires a little bit. I can't see what I'm doing, so I ended up derailing the car. I had to get the big 5-finger hook to fix it here in a second. I was hoping it would re-rail itself, but it didn't happen. Here's where we sort of did the dance. I was trying to get her attention to let me go around her, and you'll see the camera start shaking, everything. She's trying to get up above it, and I'm trying to get underneath her, and it just didn't work. I'm glad I didn't shove the car off the end of the spur. So we're pulling out the empty, and then we'll couple it to the 2 cars that we just pushed past the spur, and then we'll push in the full gondola. And because I can't get to where I normally get, I just uncoupled where I could see and then pushed it in with the uncoupling tool. Union Spring is the only one of these industries that still is in business. It's called Barber Spring now, I believe. Very infrequent rail service. Okay, so I'm going to back the engine up, couple onto these cars, and then we'll pick up from here in part 4, where we switch wherever. This video ran pretty long because of the runaround moves, so I'm not going to have any closing comments. Overall, it went pretty well. Hope you're enjoying it. Please comment down below if you have any questions about the layout or my operating system or anything at all. I really appreciate the comments, and I'll try to answer every one of them. Thanks.